Hmm. Hari Om.
हरि ओम।
हरिओम।
हरिओम।
हरि ओम।
हरिओम।
Hariom.
Hariom.
Hariom, everyone.
Om everybody.
हरिओम जी।
ये भजन जो है ना, मत कर माया को अहंकार, I have only heard it in public, of course, or out there in the world. I've mostly heard it on funerals, or I think there was one Netflix show or some Indian TV show. You know, when basically there's a crisis, one of these, dawn underworld kind of shows where there's a crisis or everything is falling apart and the song is playing in the background. You know. My point is that people associate such beautiful bhajans only with times of crisis and falling apart. And then याद आती है मत करो माया को
हाँ, निकले नहीं अभी।
एक सेकेंड मत करो माया को अहंकार मत करो काया से घमंड ये हम घमंड करके अहंकार करके गिर करके फिर सीखते हैं My point is let's learn it before doing the ahankar na let's learn such a lesson while things are going good, while you have. So when we say, humans are complacent when times are good and they become spiritual in times of crisis, this is what I mean. I'm not saying we're not criticizing. Please don't get me wrong. You you Elsewhere it is said, don't take the Lord's name in vain. Here the Lord says, take the Lord's name whenever you wish. Take the Lord's name whenever you wish, but only for your own better, um, experience of the Lord's name. The Lord's name will do much more for you if you don't simply take it in times of crisis, but also earnestly remind yourself of the Lord's name and the Lord's lessons and the Lord's message, the Bhagavad Gita, the song of the Lord, even when the going is good. When the going is good and you take the Lord's name, automatically the Lord will protect you when the tides turn. And the tides turn for everyone.
I think it was in. I think this was in Scam 1992. Harshad Mehta's
Scam
story.
1992. See, Scam 1992. When all his things are falling apart, and when the scam is falling apart, when the scam was coming up, they didn't play the song. It didn't remind him. He said, "Ahankar mat karo." When everything was falling apart, they played this. Anyway, it's a beautiful bhajan nonetheless. Sant Kabir का ये भजन है, and among my favorites. So, anyway, let's start. We won't chant verses today. We're running a little late with the bhajan, so we'll just jump straight into Q&A. But first of all, we'll do the Shanti part. Okay, invocation. Om Pratasmarami Hridhi Samsfuradaatma Satchit Sukham Paramaham Sagatim Turiyam Yatsvapna Sushuptam Avaiti Nityam Tad Brahma Nishkalamaham Nacha Bhuta Sangaha Tapo Bhikshina Papanam Shantanam Vitaraginam मुमुक्षूणामपेक्षोऽयम् आत्मबोधो विधीयते बोधोऽन्यसाधनेभ्यो हि साक्षान्मोक्षैकसाधनम् पाकस्य वह्निवज्ञानं विना मोक्षो न सिद्ध्यति। एक ये भजन है और एक वो दर्शन दो, दर्शन दो घनश्याम नाथ मोरे. That bhajan became synonymous with that movie Slumdog Millionaire, I think. It plays in the background. Or I think one of the beggar children chant that, the one who's blind chants that bhajan. So people only associate these bhajans with either times of sorrow or crisis. But the right time to remember bhajans, the right time to sing the praise of the Lord, the right time to yearn for the darshan of the Lord is that's a test of your vairagya actually. That's a test of true vairagya. Does it remain in the pleasant times as well? Otherwise, everyone goes through a certain vairagya. It's called samshan vairagya, smashan vairagya, however you want to say it. When there is a crisis, it's not a false renunciation. It's just a temporary renunciation. It's a temporary sense of vairagya where you find spiritual knowledge very insightful. And when you find, of course, you even get solace in it. It even helps you. It heals you. But once you're healed, even Sugriva forgot about Lord Ram, right? Once you're healed, once Sugriva was healed from his crisis, even he forgot about Lord Ram. That's the same idea. Okay. Are there any questions? Prajna.
In the last class, when we were discussing this aspect of meditation and deep meditation, you had said that this is for someone who's at the 99 percentile. So, I mean, through the 3 yogas, you get to the 99 percentile. But once you're at this 99 percentile, do you really need to, or would you have to go into the final aspect of meditation to reach moksha, or do you think that moksha is possible, even if you're just doing the 3 yogas?
No. First of all, I'll correct you.
Okay.
For comic relief, it's not 99 percentile, it's 99.99 percentile. You're already 99 percentile. If you're coming into yoga, you're 99 percentile. From yoga, if you're graduating to meditation, you're 99.999 percentile. Maybe add a couple of more nines out there. But then you get the idea. I think the spirit of your question remains the same. Meditation is the gateway to enlightenment. It's a scientific process by which you attain that ultimate state, that revelation, that awakening. So, can or will someone need meditation? Yes. But it becomes it's not a utilitarian need. It's a natural tendency. You turn meditative. And through this technique, there's so many stories in the in the in parables in the Puranas and other texts which say, oh, someone was gazing at a buffalo and became enlightened. Literally, there are stories like this. Point is that if you are at a certain level, it's not so much about what you are chanting, but even that equipoise, if you are able to attain with your mind, enlightenment is imminent. Everything else is a support to take you up to that place. Everything else is either aiding your inspiration or helping and supporting your actual practice, right? Therein, at that stage, the intent for meditation is simply enlightenment. Right? Although meditation can have several other intentions, and in different paths, it plays a different role for different kind of seekers. Of course, meditation brings a certain kind of solace. We've talked about it. But when we strictly speak from a Vedantic perspective, the purpose of meditation is enlightenment. And Vedanta says, look, I have much better medicines for you to take care of anything else. That's what it's saying. It's not saying meditation is bad, right? In fact, my medicines will turn you meditative, right? And my medicines will also help sort of permanently fix certain problems, right? Of course, in certain other paths, like the paths of mantra yoga, the paths of bhakti, meditation or the flavor of meditation is slightly different, right? Or they encompass a broader aspect of meditation, right? Like japa upon a deity is an aspect of meditation. It's not quite meditation, the ultimate meditation, but japa itself is a sort of a preparatory practice or an initial practice in some paths. So therein the intent necessarily is not enlightenment. Therein so much more sort of therein the intent is to connect with the deity, develop a relationship with the deity, right? So but when we talk about meditation in the Vedantic sense, we're talking about that practice after Vairagya, right? Through the yogas you achieve Vairagya, through the yogas you achieve a certain dharana, through the yogas you become completely, you pluck your mind from here and have planted it here reasonably, and then you get into the abhyasa of meditation. But short answer to your question, yes, after the yogas you will need meditation. In fact, you will turn meditative because that is the gateway to enlightenment.
So it's not like, in your everyday tasks and activities, you just do it with a complete sense of, Sakshi Bhav, and yeah, that suffices or something.
See, that is what your natural state will be,
Okay.
right? Very frankly, I can't split hairs with you about it because only when we are there will we actually know, oh, do we actually need to sit? How long do we need to sit for? Right? But from the experience of countless sages, it's not that, oh, it's so hunky-dory, right? Ultimately, the drive will be for ekanta, for solitude. The drive will be for quietude. The drive will be for an ultimate sort of equipoise, which happens in this scientific technique of meditation. Before you come back into the world and get back to maybe a daily activity, you'll actually stop all other daily activities. Maybe after meditation and after enlightenment, you come back and you carry on with your regular life. Or I don't know what you'll do, right? We've had different sages live very different lives after realization. But there will be that phase where sort of that withdrawal will lead to no other activity. Pretty much your entire sort of time and energy spent in attaining this realization.
Okay.
So theoretically, it doesn't seem likely that you bypass this practice.
Okay.
For all practical purposes, you'll be so blissed out even before the state that you won't need anything else. Right? If your question is that, oh, after having immersed yourself in this wisdom, will I actually need to meditate for peace? No. You won't need to meditate for peace. Yeah. You won't need to meditate to calm your blood pressure. Right. But yes, for enlightenment, you certainly will need to meditate. In fact, that will be what you will gravitate to.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, any other questions? No Rashmiji today. Anybody else feel inspired to ask? It'll be nice to see more of you. I think there are only 6-7 of you who are showing me your face. Out of the 30 odd people, we have only 6-7 people showing me your face. I'll forget what you look like. Then I won't recognize you. Then you'll say, oh, I've been attending your classes so many years. You don't recognize me. Eventually, I am only asking to see your face so that I can recognize you later. Because otherwise, you'll blame me only.
Thank you, Iksa, for being so candid today. Otherwise, you never say this.
We all find euphemistic ways to get the message across, right? Okay. Verse number 28 was where we were. We'll start from verse number 28. युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं योगी विगतकल्मषः सुखेन ब्रह्म संस्पर्शम् अत्यन्तं सुखमश्नुते युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं योगी विगतकल्मषः सुखेन ब्रह्म संस्पर्शम् अत्यन्तं सुखमश्नुते अत्यन्तं सुखम. I draw your attention back to the promise, this promised land of meditation. Atyantam, infinite. Constantly practicing union with the self, the yogi, freed from sin, easily attains the infinite bliss of contact with Brahman. Oof. Such a verse puts us to shame. We think, oh, how many lifetimes we'll need to spend to do all of this stuff. It's good I'm hearing all of this right now. We'll put it to practice later. And here the Lord says, such a person will easily attain the infinite state. It feels like we are good for nothings. We are not made for all of this knowledge. It really, sometimes if you don't, if you read this randomly, you will not be able to relate. The yogi who has been freed from sin, the yogi who has done whatever we've been talking about, the yogi who's been through the path of yoga easily attains. It becomes sukhena, right? Through constant practice. So this ease comes with constancy. This ease comes with yoga rudha, being a yoga rudha. This ease comes with being established in yoga. So if you recall, a couple of classes ago, we spent a couple of verses discussing who is a yoga rudha, what is the qualification of a yoga rudha, and herein he's doubling down on that, constantly practicing, abhyasa of meditation. What he's saying is through constant practice and through the appropriate preparation, when you dive into meditation, this is the way, this is the path, and it's easy. Just like running 100 meters under 10 seconds is easy. For whom? Usain Bolt or whoever is now the champion. Most of us can't run 100 meters in 20 seconds. So it's easy for one who has put in the tapas, for one who has put in the sadhana. It's possible. It's attainable. Nothing was easy unless it was tried, indeed. So I keep bringing your attention back to the fact that we're talking about a yogi on the verge of enlightenment. Verse number 29. Sarvabhutasthamatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. Sarvabhutasthamatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. Sarvabhutasthamatmanam sarvabhutasthamatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani. United to the self in all. He sees the self in all beings and all beings in the self. He sees the same, samadarshanaha, everywhere, sarvatra. So what happens, what is the internal state of this yogi? What is the internal outcome of their meditation? They become united to the self. This abstract entity we are calling the Atman, the self, this abstract entity which we are calling God, they become united to that. In the path of Jnanam, we call it self-realization. In the path of Bhakti, we call it God realization, merging with God. However you want to see it. The word self, the word God, the word Brahman are all synonymous. The word Shakti in that sense is synonymous. So united to God by yoga, if you want to see it that. He sees God in all beings and all beings in God. It's another way to read this verse. So the outcome of a meditation is ultimately, the first state is everything turning into divinity for you. And then ultimately it's you merging with the divinity. It's called Savikalpa Samadhi and Nirvikalpa Samadhi. There are distinct stages wherein you sort of attain this enlightenment. More on that some other time. But this uniting happens. You become connected. You shed your individuality and you merge with the totality. Just like a river merges with the ocean. You lose that very consciousness of me, I. You become one with the all. You see yourself in everyone. You see everyone in yourself. It's the ultimate empathy. It's the ultimate kindredness. You see all beings as having emanated from the same source. You see the same pulsating life source in all beings. The plurality dissolves. And much before this ultimate plurality dissolves, even on the path, as we have said, you become more and more unselfish. You become more and more empathetic. That's a very trait of bhakti. That's the very trait of spiritual growth. What's the first quality of a bhakta? What's the first quality of a devotee? Anyone remember from the previous cycles, if anyone has been there? What's the first quality of a devotee of God?
So Shraddha.
Who said that? Who said that?
Someone.
Fail. Munmunji. Fail.
So selfless.
So fearless.
Fail. Your
Surrender.
failure is my failure. Please remember that. Don't get hurt if I say fail.
Devotion.
The belief.
This is Gita cycle 3. I think we'll need a couple of more cycles, no? Maybe I should just skip all these chapters and go to what really, I've been thinking about this. Like, do we need to study all of this right now? Or should I just jump to, earlier I had a series called Gems of Bhagavad Gita where I picked out certain verses. I think that's the way. Like, just pile drive what is most relevant for us.
Is it
The
fearless?
first quality of a devotee. If we don't know the first quality, how will we become a
Faith.
devotee in the first place? The
Is it
first quality is
Advait?
Sare Pitho pe and Sare Matho pe XYZ Dakshinacharana. No? Isn't it?
So letting go of ego.
It's fearless.
No. Look, now let's not guess, because either you know, or if you don't know, then you won't be able to guess. But you should have got the hint what I was talking about right now. You develop a sense
Surrender.
of oneness.
Gratitude. Surrender.
You develop a sense of oneness. You develop a sense of kindredness. You develop a sense of empathy. That should have given you a hint. That's the first quality. The first quality is not hating any being. Adveshta sarva bhutana. The first quality of a devotee. Adveshta sarva bhutana. Dvesh means hate, dislike. Advesh, no dislike for any being. Why? Because there's empathy. You understand, even the mistakes people make, even the wrong they do, they are victims of their own nature. Of course, they have to suffer for that. Of course, they have to face the consequences of that. And you objectively deal with the consequences they have to face. But in your heart, you realize, just like I am a victim of my own nature, just like the good in me springs forth effortlessly, and so does the bad in me. Similarly, it's with the others. When you harbor this awareness, you will not have dvesh. You will have sympathy, no doubt, for their state. You'll feel sorry. You'll recognize the tragedy. Because what is a human capable of, and what do they fall to? Because of their nature. But you won't have hate. Adveshta sarva bhutanam. And where is that coming from? From this awareness, from this objectivity. First quality of a bhakta. That same thing, from the moment you qualify for bhakti to the very end of enlightenment, this quality is complete. It's like a blossoming lotus, blooming lotus. Each petal unfolds and you develop this ultimate empathy. You see the self in all beings and all beings in the self. So this is the goal, this is the state, and this is also the path. This quality blossoms in you. It blooms in you as you grow. United to the self in yoga. He sees the self in all beings and all beings in the self. He sees the same everywhere. Today we don't see the same everywhere. Today we don't see the self in all beings. We see their qualities, we see their gunas, we like certain things, we dislike certain things, we criticize certain things, we appreciate certain things, we are blind to certain things, we exaggerate certain things, we are affected by certain things, we try to ignore certain other things. We are totally lost in their aham tattva, we are totally lost in their gunas. So, as you grow, this is what happens to you within. You see the same everywhere. Sarvatra samadarshana. Verse number 30. Yogmam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sachame na pranashyati. Yogmam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sachame na pranashyati. He says, he who sees me everywhere and sees all in me, I am not lost to him, nor is he lost to me. Tasyaham, tasya, aham, na pranashyami. I do not perish for him, and nor does he perish for me. Na cha me pranashyati. He perishes, I perish. Pranashyami, I perish for him. Pranashyati, he perishes for me. And na pranashyati, na pranashyami means I don't perish for him, he doesn't perish for me. I am not lost to him, he is not lost to me. We remain connected. So, in verse number 29, he spoke like a jnani. He used the word Atman. Herein, he uses the term Mam, Mai. So, the same Atman is the same Mam, is the same Mai. Bhagavan is saying, I am the Atman. What a jnani calls the Atman, a bhakta calls Bhagavan. Lord Krishna is speaking from the vantage point of Bhagavan. Remember, it's not Shri Krishna Uvacha, it's Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. And what has made Krishna Bhagavan is he has lost the Aham Tattva, he has attained enlightenment. That's what makes him Bhagavan. So when Krishna is saying me, he means Bhagavan. He doesn't mean person Krishna, he doesn't mean that individual Krishna. So what I'm saying is, whoever you feel your isht is, that you feel that connection with it. This could be Lord Shiva, this could be Ganapati, this could be a Devi, whoever. He who sees me, the Devi, the Shiva, whoever needs that personal deity, they'll read the verse in that light. It's not only Krishna. He who sees the Lord everywhere and sees all in the Lord. The Lord is not lost to him, nor is he lost to the Lord. Otherwise, people will think, oh, if you read this in a very shallow way and you first introduced to it, you'll think, okay, the Lord is being so egoistic out here. He's placing himself on the pedestal. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sacha me na pranashyati. This verse gives a lot of assurance to the bhakta. But what does a bhakta want? A bhakta wants to sit at the lotus feet of the Lord. They want to be Sharanagat, right? So this is the assurance of the Lord. You do this and I will not be lost to you. You will never lose your connection with me, nor will you be lost to me. I'll always also remain connected with you. Whenever you think of me, I'll be there. And whenever something happens, I'll remember you. And this kind of language is something that really appeals to a devotee. It may not appeal to the jnani in you, but it'll certainly appeal to the devotee in you. It brings a great sense of joy and assurance that this is the path I have to traverse. What is this path? Of yoga, vairagya, dharana, dhyana. This is the path. Through dhyanam, I will see you everywhere. I will see you in everything, and I will see everything in you through dhyanam. And then I will remain totally connected. There'll be no disconnection. It'll be a stable connection. It'll not be like the old school broadband. It'll be the new age fiber connection. 10 Gbps connection with the Lord. Totally connected. Better than 5G. It'll be 100G. Total connection. Verse number 31. Sarvabhutassthitam yo mam bhajatyekatva masthitah sarvatha vartamanopi sayogi mai vartate. Sarvabhutassthitam yo mam bhajatyekatva masthitah sarvatha vartamanopi Sayogi mai vartate. He who established in oneness worships me, abiding in all beings. That yogi dwells in me, whatever be his mode of living. He who established in oneness, who has gained this oneness, who has been through this inner journey, and who has attained this constant connection with me, that yogi dwells in me. He's not saying dwells near me. He's not saying lives near me. He's not saying, oh, his koti is next to my koti. Oh, do you know who my neighbor is? If you have a palatial home in, I don't know, what is the fanciest area? Amrita Shergill Marg of New Delhi. You'll say, do you know who my neighbor is? I dwell near XYZ person. So the Lord is saying, such a person will not dwell near me, they'll dwell in me. Matlab closer than near. They'll merge with me, they'll become one with me. Like a child dwells in the mother. That's that connection you will develop with the Lord. He who does all of this, he who goes through this path, they'll become one with me. Now, this last line is what we can't digest and we can't understand. Whatever be his mode of living. And frankly, we have no business. We all sit in judgment of gurus. We all sit in judgment of saints. As long as their mode of living agrees with our idea of spirituality, we think, हाँ ये तो बहुत सिद्ध है. देखो, ये सिर्फ एक बार खाना खाते हैं. देखो, ये इतना चार्ज नहीं करते, ये अपने क्लासेस फ्री में देते हैं, इनके कोर्सेज ऐसे हैं. He is not money minded, he is not this minded, he is not that. He lives like this, he wears simple clothes. As long as a spiritual person fits our idea of spirituality, वो तो सिद्ध है. पंखे के बिना बैठते हैं. Whatever be his mode of living. He can wine with you, he can dine with you. He can have 99 Rolls Royces, like Bhagwan, Shri Rajneesh. Whatever be his mode of living. You will not be able to comprehend it. I'm not saying you should follow anyone and everyone blindly. But after a point, it's the knowledge of a guru that matters, because you won't be able to understand their life. You won't. In choosing someone to follow, in choosing someone to try to learn from, of course, their mode of living needs to appeal to you. But not everything necessarily will make sense to you. But more than their mode of living, it is their knowledge. It is what they are conveying, which is far more important. In fact, which is what is important for you. Nothing else is important. Proximity to your guru is not going to lead you to enlightenment. It's you working on the knowledge they give you. On the contrary, or look at it at the flip side, whatever be their mode of living, we've had Raj Rishis and we've had the Sudamas of the world, living in abject poverty and living in extravagant abundance. The mode of living doesn't matter. Now, this doesn't mean that, you say, oh, the mode of living doesn't matter. I'm going to indulge in the world and I'm going to... No, that's not what he's saying. If you need indulgence, that means you're not ready. The test of your readiness is to be the ability to do without. And you will have to go through this process. But once you have achieved it, it doesn't matter what your mode of living is, because you have gained that complete freedom from your ego and your desires. You have no possessiveness towards your possessions. Whatever be their mode of living, whether it is your possessions, whether it is your processes, whether it is your rituals, all of those things don't matter to a person who has attained it. It's just that that clarity the Lord gives. Verse number 32. आत्मौपम्येन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति योऽर्जुन सुखं वा यदि वा दुःखं स योगी परमो मतः. आत्मौपम्येन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति योऽर्जुन सुखं वा यदि वा दुःखं स योगी परमो मतः. He who through the likeness of the self, O Arjuna, sees equality everywhere, through joy and sorrow, he is considered a supreme yogi. So he continues to describe this ecstatic state, this enlightened state of a yogi, a supreme yogi. Through their connection with their self, with the self, through their identification with the self, through their merger with the self, through likeness of the self, O Arjuna, such a person sees equality everywhere. Samam, through joy and through sorrow. They see everything as the Leela of the Lord. They see every crisis as a small speck in the magnificent symphony of the universe. They see every experience as part of this unbroken chain of karma, which is beyond your comprehension. They have developed this total surrender and understand everything is just a play of the Lord. It's not something that is easily said, and certainly it's not something to be said to someone just like that. Tomorrow when someone is going through a certain experience, you don't tell them, oh, ye to sab Bhagwan ka leela hai. Please don't. Where did you hear this? I learned it in my Gita class. They'll slap you, they'll beat you up, and they'll come for me also. What nonsense is this guy teaching? When someone is going through joy and sorrow and is affected by it, you don't tell them this is all a leela of the Lord. This is for your own personal consumption, for your own personal reflection. Softly to your soul you must say this, so that when joy comes to you or when sorrow comes to you, mat kar maya ko ahankar, mat kar kaya se घमंड. झोंका भंवर का लग जाए, सब कुछ मिट्टी में मिल जा सकता है. Joy or sorrow, we create we think, oh, it's a big deal. Oh, these are extremes of experiences. No, it's just a small, fragile little thing. One small thing changes and life goes upside down. It's actually the same. It's pretty much the same experience. It's all a part of the Leela. So the supreme yogi who traverses this path and attains this state, they develop this level of samarpan bhav. They develop this level of objectivity. They develop this level of detachment. Of course, when there is sorrow, they will deal with the sorrow. As I've always said, they'll become a pillar of support for others. It's not that they'll be laughing through sorrow. Arey, ye so sab leela hai. Ha, ha, ha. They're not going to be sadistic about it. Of course, they understand the gravity of sorrow for those who are affected by it particularly. And they won't be disinterested in the joy. Arey, ye so sab leela hai. Isme kuch pada nahi hai. Sab moh maya hai. No, they'll celebrate the joy, especially for those who are ecstatic about it. But within their hearts, they'll be objective. They'll be Sakshi. The Sakshi Bhav is, once again, It's both the path and the goal. Sakshi Bhav is important to develop as you grow, or it will develop in you as you grow, and it'll be completely, perfectly developed once you attain the state. So, none of these virtues of a yogi are 0 or 100. They slowly, slowly develop in you. You develop a flavor of it, you develop a likeness to it. Some of these qualities may seem completely averse to you, maybe, but as they grow in you, you will become attuned to it. So, any of these virtues, they are indications of spiritual growth and, of course, clear markers of spiritual enlightenment. Enlightenment has no meaning without these virtues, right? Verse number 33. So, all of this has been said, and now we are feeling like, भाई ये तो सब दिल्ली बहुत दूर है, बड़ी बड़ी बातें हैं ये सब, and that's exactly what Arjuna is feeling like. भगवान आपने तो ये सब कह दिया, okay, all of this, but I don't see it lasting. We have to appreciate this question of Arjuna. Let's take a moment's silence to appreciate. First of all, Arjuna is listening. He's not the same Arjuna of chapter 1 who is blabbering. He's not the same Arjuna of chapter 2 who is asking unrelated questions. Here, he's identifying the right point, and he's asking something that is perhaps very relevant. It's exactly how each of you should feel after the rosy picture painted by the Lord in the last couple of verses. Oh, this is easily attained by the yogi. The supreme yogi is this, the supreme yogi is that. All well and good for the supreme yogi, but I don't see myself being able to do this. That's exactly what Arjuna asks in the next two verses. Verse number 33 and 34, we'll chant it together. Arjuna uvacha yoyam yogastvaya proktaha samyena madhusudana etasyaham na pashyami chanchalatva sthitim sthiram chanchalam hi mana krishna pramathi balavadridham tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. Arjuna uvacha, Arjuna said, all this time Bhagavan was speaking. Now Arjuna is saying, this yoga of equanimity, samyena yoga, this equality, this yoga of samabhav, this yoga of objectivity, this yoga of sakshi bhav, this yoga of meditation which you are talking about, I can't quite understand. Oh Madhusudana, I don't see its enduring stability owing to restlessness of what? Of the very mind. This mind, O Krishna, is chanchal. Chanchalatvat. He says, chanchalam hi mana Krishna. This mind is restless, O Krishna. It is turbulent, it is strong, it is obstinate. Pramathi, balavat dridham. It is chanchalam, it is pramathi, it is balavat, and it is dridham. It is restless, it is turbulent, it is strong, it is obstinate. It is restless, it can't stay in one place. It is turbulent, it is uncontrollable. It is strong, it can easily overpower you. And it's obstinate. What you ask it to do, it won't do. What you ask it not to do, it will do. By nature, it's obstinate. Doesn't want to listen. It's not used to listening. Oh Arjun, oh Krishna, how can I control such a mind? I don't see whatever you are talking about. ठीक है, in some rare occasion I may be able to attain such a state, but I don't see it lasting. I consider it as difficult to control as the wind. This mind is like the wind. I can't control it. You think you can control the wind? Okay, I'm sending Amphan your way. Try controlling it. Hurricane Katrina, I'm sending it your way. Try controlling it. It's like this wind. The torrential wind which can uproot and can completely devastate. That's the mind. If it is not, or rather, can it even be controlled? I feel completely living at its mercy. So, a very genuine question, because all of this knowledge is all well and good, but in practical experience, we see people struggling with their minds. We see people having a great difficulty in managing this thing called the mind. It seems like the greatest boon and the biggest curse. When things are going good, it seems like the most beautiful gift of the Lord. But when things are not good, when I'm not able to make sense of it, when I'm not able to control it, it seems like the biggest curse. I would never wish it upon my enemies, any mental illness. So, oh Krishna, I can't see this practice of yours. So, we must appreciate this question of Arjuna. We must appreciate the place of honesty it's coming from. And this honesty is very important in the spiritual path. Because it's all well and good to say, yes, I agree with it. Oh, the Lord has said this, I'm going to. It all comes back to हम भगवत गीता को बहुत मानते हैं but की नहीं मानते. We say all very nice and good things on the surface about it, but if we really trickle down, we don't really agree with a lot of what it is saying. But that disagreement is very important to express and to navigate, to bring this closer to your experience. This is what we mean by experimenting with the knowledge. Secondly, what we have said is that, of course, this path of meditation is not easy. This we've been saying since day one. It's not meant for a beginner, first of all. It's only meant for a refined and advanced seeker. This state of meditation he's talking about is for a supreme yogi, right? So it's only but natural. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. Oh, Arjuna. With practice, he'll say in the next verse, it's certainly possible. With practice, with consistency, with a planned and programmed approach, it is certainly possible. And before you gain complete suzerainty over it, before you gain complete meditativeness, let's not jump the gun. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Focus on the yogas. Focus on what you need to do today to become a slightly better person, a slightly better version of you, day by day. Slowly, shanai shanai, this path will gradually unfold. So that's the assurance the Lord will give in the next verse. But before we jump to that, we'll take some more time on that thought in the next class. I don't want to jump to it right now. So I'm happy to conclude out here right now. Let's sit with Arjuna's question. Let's appreciate the honesty, the place of honesty it's coming from. And let's reflect upon that. I highly urge you to read the last couple of verses. Of course, we're going at a certain pace, but do read through the commentary and share with us any questions you may have. And with that thought, happy to take up any questions that are lingering.
Sir, can you explain little Savikalpa Samadhi and Nirvikalpa Samadhi?
I can explain, but like everything else, So Savikalpa Samadhi is an intermediate enlightenment, and Nirvikalpa Samadhi is the complete enlightenment. For all practical purposes, I'm making it slightly simpler for us to understand. But first of all, Samadhi itself is a very highly evolved state. Now, as you grow in your in the spiritual journey, as your ego reduces, as you see, gain more and more empathy and more oneness with all beings, this plurality in you dissolves, right? And this is true even in general parlance. The more unselfish, the more selfless a person, the more connected they are to a diverse set of beings. In fact, if you're able to connect and appreciate and find oneness with a more diverse set of beings, it's an indication that you are more spiritually evolved. If you find a problem with anyone and everyone, including your neighbors, your near and dear ones, it means you can't get along with anyone. If you're fighting with everyone, it means you're least spiritually evolved. Huh? Only finding faults and finding misgivings and finding shortcomings. They may be objectively true, but if that's what you're focusing on, then. So as you grow, your sense of empathy, oneness, connectedness grows. Savikalpa Samadhi is that state wherein this entire plurality has been merged into a duality. Wherein for you, everything is just an expression of God. God is in everyone and everyone is in God. You see God in everything. You see God clothed in demonic clothes when you see your enemy. You see God dressed like an angel when you see your friend. When you see someone with good qualities and good virtues, you see the God in them enveloped by sattvic guna. When you see a terrible person, you see the God in them enveloped by tamasic guna. So you are able to visualize or see or relate with everything as God. For you, it's just you and God. The entire plurality has been brought into a duality, you and God. And you surrender to that God. You are Sharanagat to that God. You are totally connected to that God. You will simply do God's bidding. That itself is a very high state. It's as good as being there. But still, there is a barrier between you and God. You are separate from God. You see yourself as other than God. When that barrier breaks, when you completely merge into God, there is no me. There's only God. I am also God. That state is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi. There's no plurality, there's no duality, there's just a singularity. So that's Savikalpa Samadhi is duality, Nirvikalpa Samadhi is singularity.
So the Nirvikalpa Samadhi is bigger than Savikalpa Samadhi, right?
For all, bigger in the sense, it's that ultimate stage. Savikalpa Samadhi is the penultimate stage, and Nirvikalpa Samadhi is the ultimate stage. And different philosophies. See, I have explained an Advaita Vedanta explanation. There are different philosophies which will give a slightly different explanation. There will be some philosophies which will reject this altogether. What I will urge you to remember is that there's no point splitting hairs. When you're ready to understand and appreciate and relate to these things, you will develop your own understanding. These are all very subtle explanations given by sages who have attained the state, and therefore they try to convey their experiences, but words are very difficult to convey and capture such things. So what I have explained is how Advaita Vedanta predominantly explains it. Of course, simplistically, there are slightly different interpretations and different branches, but it doesn't matter. Trust me, it doesn't matter.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Cheers. Hari Om. Have a good weekend and we'll see you again.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hari Om.
Thank you very